man.
All right, Maestro, you're right.
I'm all right, yeah, fine. Fizzing like a bottle of popular cork out.
Lovely watching that there. I love it. Mickey...
Dickie Mint.
Dickie Mint. Dickie Mint.
Dickie Mint.
That's where you started. That was one of your first acts, wasn't it, the ventriloquist?
Well, yes. When I was about 8 or 9, I was a very intellectual little boy. Very intellectual. I used to read The Wizard and the Hotspur and the Rover. And at the back page, there was always a big advertisement with a man with a box on his back and a blurb saying, "Help!" And he said, "Fool your teachers, amaze your friends, send sixpence stamps, become a ventriloquist." So I did, didn't I? Yes. See, he did it. And I did my very, very first show in Nottingham in St Edward's Orphanage, and the Father Superior called me around afterwards and gave me half a crown. Then about a month later, I did a show for the school, and the parents and the headmaster gave me a shilling. So, you see, I learned a very, very important thing, but you will do well to remember how to take a cut gracefully.
And that started you on this extraordinary career, 54 years now.
Learning my trade, 54 years. That's a hell of a long time to wait for a laugh.
It's a long, long time.
I started playing the clubs and then went up to Masonics, where you paid in guineas. You got 2 guineas. I started Nottingham Empire in September '54. I worked my way up Leeds, Sunderland, then the House of Terror, Glasgow Empire.
Oh. Was it not as bad as they say? Was it?
On the Monday morning, Mr. Matthew, who was the manager, said, "Right, all the company's there for a band call." He said, "Who are the comedians?" And 3 of us stepped forward. I think it was myself, Stan Stennett, and Geoffrey Lenner. He said, "Right." He said, "No football gags, because we need the seats." And... Friday night, all English comics get the bird. So, you know, so you can imagine, Friday night, I'm very nervous at the best of times, but my first lines to a Glasgow audience was, "I suppose you're all wondering why I've sent for you." And this fellow coiled himself from the 3rd row with a half a bottle of whiskey. He said, "Cripes, what a horrible sight!" And that was the first laugh, and the other one I got off. So then I played all the theatres down to Lancashire, Yorkshire, Barnsley.
You played Barnsley?
I played Barnsley, yeah. I played Barnsley.
Theatre Royal?
Theatre Royal. Yes, and I opened on the Monday, and the next day, I went downstairs for my breakfast, and the old Yorkshireman there, with his cap on, he said, "Here then." He said, "Is that artist?" "What?" He said, "That artist up at the theatre?" Oh, I said, yes. Ah, just had a good night. He said, "During the night, did you have occasion to get out of bed and visit the privy at the bottom of the garden?" I said, "Well, wait a minute." He said, did you pull the... I said, "Yes." He said, "Do you know you let all my pigeons out?" So I played Lancashire. I don't come from Yorkshire myself.
I know you don't.
But I do have some of your habits.
Yeah.
I can speak a bit of Yorkshire.
Can you go on?
How much?
That's a racist joke, actually. Definitely. I should report you.
Yorkshire born, Yorkshire bred, strong in the arm. Now, as I say, these are all... But my hometown, Liverpool. Liverpool now, we are now, as from next year, we are the city of culture.
That's right.
And we're taking it very seriously.
Are you part
We're having evening classes in graffiti. Well, the Midlands, where they have Enoch and Eli, talk like that, you know what I mean, like? Enoch and Eli. And there were two camels talking to each other, and one said, "Eric." He said, "Eric, why do we have these humps on our backs?" Well, he said, "Derek, I'll tell you what it is," he said. "It's so we can go 3 days or more without water." "Go away." So, yeah. So why do we have... Or, Eric, why do we have these long eyelashes? Well, he said, so to keep the dust out of our eyes in a storm. He said, why do we have these big, ugly, splayed feet? He said, that's so we can keep our balance in the shifting sands of the desert. He said, well, what are we doing in Dudley Zoo?
It's an interesting point. I mean, a lot of comics, there's a lot of anger in a lot of comedy and a lot of comics. You know, there's a lot of I mean, you're a very benign comic, you know. You're lovely. You create this world. It's like a Disney world.
It may even mean you or someone wants to read. Ken Dodd, how would you describe your type of comedy, humour? I said, well, optimistic. He said, I come and say, by Jove, what a beautiful day. What a beautiful day for putting your kilt on upside down and shouting, how's this for a shuttlecock? What a beautiful day. What a beautiful day for ramming your cucumber through the vicar's letterbox and saying, look out, the Martians are coming.
We're talking to Jonathan there about observation. I mean, comics observe things, don't they? That's part of their...
That is a type of comedy. They're all types of comedians. I'm sort of a patter man, sort of a jolly old Uncle Joe. My heroes were people like Charlie Chester and Ted Ray. And then you get the the clowns who are very visual, you know, but I've always been cursed for these good looks. So... We're knocking on, aren't we? You want to watch that, you know? These days, ageism.
I've got plenty of it, though.
Well, but anyway, when you're over 50, you've lived too long, go on, get out of it.
But you're still working. Jonathan and I were talking about this earlier on.
Age doesn't matter unless you're a cheese.
But you've got no intention of retiring, have you?
No.
But you're 80 now. I mean, how long can you keep on going?
Men retire. People retire when they stop doing what they don't want to do and start doing what they do want to do. And I'm stage struck. I love it.
Still?
Oh, I love it. I just can't wait to slave over a hot audience.
But what ambition do you have left now after this 54 years you've been on the stage?
I'm going on. Two of my projects, one of my projects is to try and persuade people to have a national archive of comedy and humour. Because we have theatre museums and musical museums. Comedy, we should have all those wonderful clips going right back to George Roby, Will Hay, all the Frank Randall, all these wonderful... Sandy Powell, Peter Cook and Dudley Moore, all the great pieces of comedy that we've all laughed our socks off, ought to be on film, script, or somewhere on tape there, so that future humourists, future people who want to write good comedy, real comedy, go and say, oh, that's...
Then that's one ambition. What's the other one?
Shot by a jealous husband at the age of... to play every theatre in Great Britain.
But you've just about done that, haven't you?
No, not quite. I've been right up to the Shetlands, theatre there twice, right down to the Channel Islands, across to Hunstanton, we play there every year, and then to Swansea, and a little place called Istragynnoes. We played there about 2 years ago, and a little old lady came up in the intervals, and she said are we good enough for him? Isn't that marvellous? See, British audiences, all they want to do is to laugh. They're with you all the way. Sometimes you have a job shaking them off, but it's... Over the years, one thing humour does teach you, and I think Professor Miller will tell you, the secret of happiness is to plant a seed and watch it grow. You can grow a family, you can grow a show, you can grow a business, but you do something and you see something bloom. That is the seed. That, and one other thing, is you must feel that you're necessary. Once you're not necessary, off you go. And these words of wisdom come to you through comedy. When things look black, send them to the laundry. Never put off till tomorrow what you can do today. Because if you do it today and you like it, you can do it again tomorrow.
I mean, you are the last in that line of...
no,
you are the last.
Loads of good...
You're the last one.
We are what they call mainstream, as opposed to the other people. There's lots of... There's wonderful comics still about.
They're not on telly.
Of course they're not on telly.
Well, therefore they don't exist, Ken. You know that.
Well, you've got to get on chat. There's a marvellous young fellow in Liverpool called John Martin, who's a superb young comedian.
But you're the last in the line of those great people you've talked about, your heroes. You're the last one.
I like it. The young comedians, Eric Sykes, Richard Bryant, and marvellous.
It's a delight to talk to you, and a delight also to learn you're still going to go on.
Yes.
Somebody once said, go and watch Ken Dodd. It's not like an experience in the theatre. It's like being kept hostage. four hours
show business model. The show must go on. And this show is going on. One thing about my shows, you always go home in the daylight.
Ken Dodd, thank you very much indeed, Ken Dodd.